It is official. The first game for the Houston Rockets for the upcoming season is going to be on Friday, October 23rd, and it's going to be a wild one because they take on the defending Western Conference champions, the San Antonio Spurs, and it's not going to be a home game. It's not going to be a traditional road game, and it's not in San Antonio. It's going to be in Austin, Texas, in the old stomping grounds of Kevin Durant, game being played at the Moody Center. Welcome in, everyone. I am your host, Munaf Manji. The schedule being slowly released this week for the NBA. We got the Christmas Day games announced. Unfortunately, the Rockets will not be a part of that, and they're not going to be playing on the official opening night of the NBA season. But did get news that the first road game and the first matchup for the Houston Rockets is going to be on Friday, October 23rd against the San Antonio Spurs in Austin. And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that matchup. We'll go back and look at the last season matchups for the Houston Rockets against the San Antonio Spurs and how all that played out. We'll talk about where they're going to be the keys, at least in my perspective. I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts as well on how the Rockets can come out with a victory in that first game against the San Antonio Spurs in the first season matchup. But before we do get into all of that, need your guys' help. Again, we are 50 subscribers away to get into the 8,900 mark for this Rockets Digest Media channel. For those of you who have already subscribed, thank you so much for doing that from the bottom of my heart. Do us a favor, share this channel with a Rockets fan in your life or an NBA fan in general. And again, we are on the march to 10,000. I'm feeling very, very confident that we do get there by the time the NBA season starts. For those of you that have not subscribed yet, do us a huge favor, support us here on this Rockets channel. Hit that subscribe button and also hit that like button on this video as well as you're watching this here. But as I mentioned, the official announcement coming out from the Houston Rockets this morning on their Twitter page, and it is going to be a dandy, and it's going to be wild because the Rockets on opening week, their matchup will take on the San Antonio Spurs on October 23rd in Austin, Texas at the Moody Center. And as I mentioned, of course, we all know that the Kevin Durant had and did play his college ball in Austin with the Longhorns of the University of Texas. So it's going to be interesting to see what the crowd split is going to look like, right? Because we've talked a lot about, obviously you being Rockets fans and being in Texas, that Austin, San Antonio, and Houston aren't too far from each other. I'll be curious to see how many Rockets fans will be traveling to Austin for this game here and how much support Kevin Durant is also going to have at the Moody Center. Being in Austin, being a Longhorn alumni there, and how many KD fans are going to be in the stands there. So it should be a ruckus, a fun environment, and I think it's going to be a good road test here for the Houston Rockets going up against the San Antonio Spurs. So let's go back last season and take a look at what the season series looked like against the San Antonio Spurs their last season. I'll make this graphic a little bit bigger so we can all see it here. But obviously, being the same Southwest Division, you do play those opponents 4 times, and the San Antonio Spurs beat the Rockets 3 out of the 4 times last season. The lone Rockets victory against the Spurs came on January 20th, 2026, which was a 111-106 victory on the home floor of the Houston Rockets. And outside of that, the biggest thing that does stick out to me on the matchups for the Rockets against the Spurs was the number of points that they did give up in those games, right? You take a look in the losses, they give 121, 111, and the last matchup of the season series back on March 8th was that they gave up 145 points to the San Antonio Spurs. That can't happen for the Rockets in this game. I think the Rockets cannot get into a shootout with the San Antonio Spurs. I think it's going to have to be a lot more half-court offense and executing. And number one, 2 things for me to start it off for the keys to this game. Again, very early on, we'll talk more about it as the season progresses and, with the availability and the rotations and things like that, excuse me, are going to look like for the Houston Rockets, right? But 2 things. Number one, protecting the basketball, limiting turnovers, and number 2, rebounding and creating those second chance opportunities, right? Because when the Rockets had that 2-man lineup out last season, with the bigs that we do have, right? Obviously from Şengün to Clint Capella to Steven Adams, Oscar Tshiebwe, I don't think he's going to get a lot of playing time, obviously, but, maybe we'll do a player profile on him. on Oscar Shigwe, who they did pick up in free agency. But I think that the Rockets are really going to have to limit the second chance opportunities for the San Antonio Spurs in this game, and also create second chance opportunities for yourself. Because, like, as I mentioned, we were one of the better offensive rebounding teams from last season. And we'll dive a little bit more into the box scores as well from what transpired last season. And I want to see what really was that led to the victory for the Rockets in that victory that we did have back on January 20th. So let me put the graphic back up as far as those four matchups for the Rockets against the Spurs last season. As I mentioned, the biggest thing that does stick out, obviously, is the number of points that the Rockets did give up. Excuse me, in those games there. But let's go to that victory there for the Houston Rockets. It wasn't a great start in that game, right? They were outscored 39-28 in that first quarter, but the Rockets really locked in on the defensive side, especially in that second half, where they only gave up 36 points to the San Antonio Spurs in the entire second half there. So that's really what it's going to take for the Rockets to really win this game. Is really going to have to be locking in on the defensive side, right? You can't really get into a shootout with the San Antonio Spurs. Julian Champagnie in that game had a team high 27 points for the San Antonio Spurs. So again, it'll be interesting to see who's going to be matched up on Victor Wembanyama in this game and how they attack him on the defensive side. Is it going to be double teams that you throw at him and make somebody else beat you, right? Or is it going to be that Amen Thompson tries to slow him down? Jabari Smith, are they going to throw different looks at him and try to slow him down? Because I think the perimeter defense as well, right? The strength of this Spurs team is really that guard depth that they do have with Stephon Castle, De'Aaron Fox, and Dylan Harper as well, right? I know that De'Aaron Fox really didn't have the greatest NBA Finals or even the postseason run, but this is a regular season matchup, right? This is going to be a lot telling for the Houston Rockets and how they are looking against the Spurs, one of the best teams in the Western Conference, how they match up against this team, because this is going to be a team, of course, we know that we're going to have to deal with for a very long time, being in the same division as we have been. So also Alperen Şengün, that's the one guy that I'll be looking out for in this game as well, because he did have pretty good success against the San Antonio Spurs in those matchups there. And again, if he's really able to be efficient from the floor, I think that could really bode well for this Houston Rockets team. The San Antonio Spurs, well, let me rephrase. Let me go back to this. I don't think we're expecting a lot out of Fred VanVleet to start the season, right? I think they're going to have to ease his way back in. We'll see if he's going to be ready for opening night or opening week for this Houston Rockets team. And even if he is, I think it's going to have to be 15 to 20 minutes at a time. And as game by game, the workload and the minutes increase for him, somebody else is going to have to step up. And again, we go back to the depth chart for this Houston Rockets team. That one guy that really sticks out, and I don't know how much faith a lot of people have in Marcus Smart, right? He's got a little bit up there in age for the Houston Rockets, and it's going to be interesting to see who he is matched up on, because again, those guys, those younger guards for the San Antonio Spurs could create some problems on the perimeter for the Rockets, right? I don't think Bruce Thornton's going to get a lot of minutes for this Rockets team, but again, if it is going to have to be Marcus Smart, he's really going to have to, lock in on the defensive side there for the Rockets. But I'm also going to be looking out, again, if they're going to deploy that two big man lineup for this Houston Rockets team and really control the boards in this game here. So again, we'll talk more about it right now. We'll talk more about this matchup as we get into training camp and preseason and what these rotations are going to look like for the Rockets. But at least we know the first official game for the Rockets is going to be on October 23rd on Friday at the Moody Center in Austin, Texas, against the San Antonio Spurs. So it'll be a great test for this Rockets team very, very early in the season. So let me know what you guys think. What are your keys to the Rockets trying to pull out this victory against the San Antonio Spurs? I don't see betting lines up yet, for those of you wondering, for the Rockets in this game there, but I'm pretty sure they will be an underdog. But again, let me know in the comments what you guys think. And again, can the Rockets pull off this victory against the San Antonio Spurs on opening night in Austin against the defending Western Conference champions. And what are your keys, right? Let me know, because I'm curious to know what you guys think as well. Again, official schedule will be dropping on Thursday afternoon, so we'll dive into that for the Houston Rockets. We'll break it down to maybe like in the first half of the season and the second half of the season, trying to gauge those back-to-back situations as well. But I'm definitely looking forward to it as Christmas Day games have been announced, opening night games have been announced, and we'll start getting more information as far as the schedule does go for the upcoming season. Appreciate everybody chiming in with us here. Again, let me know in the comments if the Rockets are going to be able to pull that victory out. What are your keys to the game? And what are you looking forward to on the schedule as well? And again, let me know if you're going to be traveling to Austin for the game as well. Would be interesting to see if you guys are going to be out there for that and rooting for the Houston Rockets. Till then, we'll talk more about the schedule as I mentioned. Enjoy your days, and I'll talk to you guys down the road.